Hello friends, Charlie Murphy here. Thank you for choosing my video. Today I'm playing a session of 50-cent dollar 6-max tables on Bovada. Got the games up and running, so we'll jump right into the action. Table 1, recreational player on 30 blinds, open limps under the gun. I isolate and face an isolation 3-bet out of the small blinds. Obviously I have a hand good enough to continue here. Trying to decide if this wants to be in some kind of 4-bet range, a jam range, or perhaps some kind of flat range. We'll isolate the limper out of the blinds with 8s, and we'll overcall closing the action in the big blind with 7-6 suited down here. I think we'll just jam this in. Run into pocket kings, oh well. Isolated and a flop a set. I'm going to go ahead and check and then just start trying to check raise. He quickly checks back, so that does not work. Flush closing turn, gonna bet. May not overbet on the flush closer. Definitely gonna bet my set at that point. In that spot against the isolation 3-bet, I'm gonna jam kings and ace king. Trap my aces. Flat call. Pocket pairs down to probably about pocket 7s. Flat call suited broadways, something like that. Hold the weak suited connectors, the offsuit Broadway stuff, the low suited aces, the low pairs. Table 1, face a min raise from the cutoff on the big blind with ace 10, defend that for a call, and go to the flop. Flop second pair on king 10 6 rainbow. Goes ahead and continuation bet small, about a quarter, slightly more than the min bet. Very happy to continue with my second pair there. Table 3, gonna open ace 5 from the cutoff, getting loose because of the recreational player out there. Button flats me, this is the big blind. Floppy weak bit is showdown value 10 10 5, so I've got 5 with the ace high kicker. Table 1, face a turn barrel and overbet, almost 2x pot on that 7 of spades, which does make straights possible, does put backdoor flush draws possible. I think I just want to go ahead and fold that one, as you know, I can be dead already to the real strong hands. There's no cards that I absolutely love. I don't have any kind of blockers to the flush or flush draw. I think we'll go ahead and fold that one. Face a very large overbet in position, multi-way about 1.5x pot. I'll fold my 5 versus that also. Table 2, blind on blind, face a 3x open. I have ace 10 suited. Going to go ahead and put in a 3-bet here. Table 1, min open from middle position. I'll be 3-bet out of my blinds with king jack suited. Table 1, open ace 9 from the button. Table 4, 30 blind stack limps. I'll complete my small blind with 8-7 suited and try to see a cheap flop. Get ISO'd big out of the big blind. I'll fold that 9 big blind ISO. ISOing awfully large out of the blinds there. Keep an eye on that. Table 2, cutoff opens. I'll 3-bet my button with ace jack. Table 3, the button opens. I've got ace deuce suited in the big blind. I'll defend that for a call and take a flop. Flop bottom pair on queen three deuce two tone. I check, he checks back. Turn is a 7. I'm gonna keep checking my weak showdown value here. I beat the ace high type stuff. I also want to let his ace high stay in case we hit an ace and I have 2 pair against his top pair. He goes ahead and bets half pot. I think that's going to be a call. Probably fold a lot of rivers on improved, but I think I do call the turn. Now I have 5th pair on the flush closing river. That's half pot. That's arguably a situation to attack with the check raise based on that size, but I think I'd rather have a bit better removal. But just something blocking a club. Ace deuce with the ace of clubs in my hand. If I had something like that, that might be a legitimate one. I think we'll just go ahead and check fold. Quite a few recreational players in the pool without even a whole lot of table juggling going on so far. Table 2 looks like the exception, so I'll switch that one out, but the others all look pretty promising with at least one recreational player, if not more. Got an open limp from an 80 blind player in his first hand, or perhaps it was an open post I didn't quite see, and the software is too glitchy to tell. Middle position player isolates to 4. I've got ace queen in the cutoff, so I'm going to go after him and re-raise to 12. Stacking off against jams with queens plus ace king here. Table 3, a min open from the cutoff. I'm on the button with ace queen. I'll be 3-betting that one too. Table 1 got a min raise from a reg type player. Seems to be on the loose side. I do have an awful weak hand though, 6-3 offsuit. Price is so good it's got me thinking about it. The fact that he's looser has me thinking about it, but I think this one's still a bit too weak to get involved with. Even against a typical standard regs button open, I'm not really playing that against a min raise, though it is kind of on the cusp. Recreational player opens 3x on the button. I've got king 10 in the big blind. Was considering going after him with the 3-bet, or at least defending for a call. However, when I get the small blind 3-betting him first, I'll just get out of the way. Not cold calling the 3-bet with anything, not cold 4-betting king 10. Fold is all that's left. Table 3, we got a 2.5x open on the button. I'm in the big blind with jack 3 suited. I can defend my suited jacks here for a standard open size. So I'll take the flop. Don't get much of that one. Ace 8 deuce rainbow. No backdoor flush draw for me. It's going to be a check fold combo here. Yeah, he bets 1/3. I go ahead and fold. Interesting scenario here on table 4. Recreational player min opens under the gun. Two other recs call. Two of the three are somewhat short. One guy about 70 blinds. The other guy about 30 blinds. Really, I'm 3-betting suited aces against recreational players a ton. However, with these guys being a bit shorter, I don't love the idea of getting myself pot stuck and calling off. I don't love raise folding. I don't love raise calling. I'm getting a great price with the hand that goes just fine multi-way. So I'm going to actually go ahead and flat from the small blind. Hope this guy doesn't get wacky and squeeze. He's been a bit aggressive pre-flop with those big ISOs, so I may not get away with it, but I think it's worth a shot. Flop decent. Ace, queen, 3 rainbow. I've got a weak top pair, and I have a backdoor flush draw. Table 3, I've got 10-7 suited in the cutoff. Slightly loose to open normally, but with the recreational player and the blinds, I think it becomes a very clear open. So I'll get in there with it. Great turn card for me on table 4 and ace, giving me a weaker trips. The hand is also very protected. I don't know that I want to start getting multiple streets in here. I don't know. I'm going to like really stack even this guy if he's got a queen. I think my hand is also pretty protected. I am letting guys draw to gut shots or 2-otters for underfulls for free, but I'm not that worried about it. I think I'll be able to play it okay on the river. I want to under-rep this hand here, give these fish a chance to bluff with their 0 equity holdings or call me down on the river for 1 bet with all kinds of nonsense. I think checking here is kind of clever. Multi-way here with the hand that's not quite as strong as it might look. However, when I hit that ace on the river, things change. It's now a very strong hand. Quads, about as good as it gets, the stone cold nuts. I think I'm going to have to go ahead and try to bet this one out. I don't know that the queens necessarily bet. I think the queens will actually still bet and call me. I'm going to go ahead and bet this and give someone a chance to bluff. Just overvalue a queen. Finally, in the very last chance, he takes the bait. He stabs about half pot. I'm going to go ahead and put in a check raise. About 3/4 size seems appropriate. I don't want to blow up too big and force him to fold everything except the quads, which I had, and he can't. Give him a chance to just kind of say I'm full of shit, thinking he's full of shit, and call off with a queen. Hey, it worked. Hard to get value there, but I'm happy that worked out the way it did. And he had 4, so he had a full house. Wasn't about to fold it against my nonsense. Now we get the rec limping. The guy that was just involved ISOs to 4. I've got ace queen suited on the button, so we're going to be happy to go ahead and raise that up. I think we stack off queens plus ace king. Yeah, we'd probably go as light as jacks here, given he's a bit short and a bit fishy. Plan to stack off jacks or better. Ace king. 3-bet. And it's like ace queen suited broadways, a few weaker pairs. Getting jammed on or 4-bet kind of sucks, but You know, these guys are allowed to have good hands every once in a while. I'm not going to start overthinking it and getting involved with the hand that could be in really bad shape. Kind of stinks to have to fold ace queen suited, but that's what I'm going to do here. Table 1, opening queens in middle position. Table 2, going to continuation bet ace 4 on that jack 10-7 rainbow board. Table 1, get called by a short stack, big blind. Not an ideal flop for me. Ace 9, 3, 2 tone. I'm just go ahead and check back with the showdown value type hand against the short stack. Let me see here. Do I want to keep barreling this hand? I mean, I blocked specifically the ace high backdoor flush draw, so maybe this isn't the one to do it with. But I would be barreling some hands like ace 4 here if the card removal suit-wise is a bit better. I'm going to keep checking back the queens. Great river for the queen, giving me a set, doesn't close the flush. Now I only lose to straights. Just going to go ahead and bet big here. If he's got something he wants to call with, great. Or to get some value. I don't know that I get called enough more by the smaller size to justify it. Go ahead and just reopen as a bluff here. I don't think it's going to be very profitable on that run out in that line, but I think it's going to be a bit better than just giving up with the weak ace high. I fold out something like 7-8 or some kind of random pocket pair, it becomes worth it. And there it does. Even though it feels like those should not get through at all, they get through more often than they should. Min raise from the button on table 1. Gonna go ahead and defend my ace-6. Check on the flop. Table 4, I've got 8-6 suited in middle position. Not a standard open, but this is not a standard table, so I am going to go ahead and play it. Stabs a quarter, and I'm going to float here with the ace high just because I'm folding way too much, even though it's not a great ace high as far as backdoors, kicker type properties go. Still going to go ahead and call because otherwise I'm just folding way too much in the flop. I know this guy's going to barrel me a lot in the turn, which I don't love, but I'm going to force him to at least keep playing properly on later streets. I'm not going to let him pick it up on the flop. Table 1, got a flush draw, king 5 deuce 2-tone. I put in a small continuation bet, and he goes ahead and folds. We have a 4 flush board. I want to go ahead and bluff this one, I think. No pair, no pair, no flush. I think the move is just going to be to go ahead and bluff it. I'm going to go ahead and use the overbet. I feel like this guy will be suspicious enough to calm me down lightly, but I think it's going to be a more effective bet than using the 3/4 size. Probably fold out at least some pairs that might bluff catch me with the smaller size. This table actually not as good as I thought. Well, this guy looked to be a wreck. He's only lived once. That may have been some kind of weird limp behind. This other guy is short stacked and also not playing very loose. Well, still not a regular player, not a guy that's massively profitable given his tight VPIP and low stack. This guy probably not really much of a fish after all. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this one out. Table 4, we're actually heads up for the moment. I'm going to open 10-9. You still have this fish sticking around. This one left, but this one's still in, so I'm going to stick around there too. Big blind calls me heads up on table 4, 8-4 deuce 2-tone. Go ahead and put in a small range bet. Some cards I can continue barreling, can pick up a top pair with my overcards, some various straight draws. Have a heart blocker there. If the third heart peels off, that could be relevant. Table 2, opening queens, blind down blind. Get called by the big blind, monotone flop. I do have the relevant queen of spades in my hand on jack 8-4. And go ahead and check range out of position on that monotone board. Heads up again on table 4. He opens 3x. I'll 3-bet king queen. Table 2, he stabs small, about a third pot. I'll check call my overpair with the spade. Still a very strong hand on that blank 3. Planning to keep putting money in this pot, not getting moved off my queens. Table 4, blind on blind into the rec, opening queen 10 suited. Table 2, he checks back the turn. River is another blank of 5. We've got an overpair with the spade. Going to go ahead and bet for value here. Use the 3/4 size. Don't see any need to overbet. Table 4 heads up now against the rec. Happy to have that scenario. Go ahead and open ace 4. $5x open from a recreational player. I don't know what those mean other than that I don't really like to call even of the big blind very much against that kind of size up. I'm going to go ahead and fold a hand like king, queen. Not quite sure what to do against those absurdly large open sizes that we see sometimes. Other than make a note that the guy is probably not a serious reg. Although I think the 60 blind stack already told me that. Heads up against the rec on table 4. Got ace-king, gladly opening that. Table 3, a new player auto post from the cutoff. I'm going to raise up from the button with ace-king suited. Table 4 heads up. We get the 5-5-3 two-tone board. I've got ace-king high. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small bet here and plan to be checking back turns and bluff-catching rivers. Absent some cards that seriously change the tenor of the hand, but my ace-king high is still mostly ahead here. Jack 5 offsuit on the button. I don't know heads up that well. That one's probably right on the cusp of something that should be open. I think against a weak player it gets even better. Table 2, opening king queen from middle position. Table 4, get a 6-5 deuce low board. Just go ahead and range bet him against the recreational players. Against a reg, I might check back my range, that low straight possible board. He check raises me, but check raises me so small I'm not folding any piece of it whatsoever, so I'll come along with my middle pair for sure. Table 2, get a recreational player in the small blind and a reg type in the big blind, both call. I get a king 10-8 two-tone board. I'll put in a small continuation bet. Not range betting there multi-way, but definitely going to keep betting my strong top pairs. I get bet into overbet over here on the turn. Going to go ahead and fold my 5 now on that 10 turn. I get a straight coordinating board here. Now Jack 9 got there. I'm going to keep betting my top pair. I'm not going to overbet that board, as I don't really want to start overbetting hands like ace, king, king, queen. I think it's going to be okay to bet, though. I'm probably better than checking, so I'm going to use a more medium size. He again quickly calls me. Timing tell has me not all that scared that he has a super strong hand. I think he's got some kind of showdown value, perhaps pair plus draw. And that 4 didn't really coordinate with anything. I'm going to go for what might be slightly thin value for a pot that started out multi-way and a board texture that's coordinating somewhat, but I think it's pretty good. I'm going for that third suited value, trying to get called by ace 10, king, jack, that kind of stuff. Kind of close. Value betting thin is usually pretty good, though. Table 4, we're going to open 8-6, heads up. He thinks about it, he calls me down, I get paid. Happy to find that third river bet. I got called by ace 10, so my plan worked. Always happy when my plan works. Table 2, blind on blind, open in 10-9. Looks like I lost my recreational player heads up, down to only 2 tables here now. Get a King 7-3. King 7-3 two-tone board. Not a whole lot in the way of backdoor equity. I guess the 8 or the Jack are very good cards. Bet or check that one. I'm going to go ahead and check it. Check fold against the stab. If I bet that, I'm really only barreling hands like the 8 or the Jack. Check calling if I turn second pair. Check folding most other cards. Blind on blind is very tricky. Still not completely sure how I want to approach it. Table 2, cutoff opens. I am in the button with ace-3 suited. Gonna go ahead and be 3-betting most, if not all, my suited aces in a spot like this. Three X open on table 3 from the button. I think ace-5 is too weak to defend against an open of that size. Queen 9 in the cutoff on table 2, a little bit loose to open. If I had recreational players to mess around with, I think I would play it, but I'm not certain of these guys. The only potential spot at this table is the 84 blind stack, and the 2 suitors already out of this particular hand, so I'm going to let that one go. Kind of close, though. Fine to open as long as you got a reason for why you're open. I wouldn't do it blindly, but as long as there's a reason, I think it's just fine. As long as there's a good reason. Table 3, open an 8-7 suited from the button. That's nice and standard. We do have a recreational player in the blind, so we're looking to go after. Flop second pair on Queen 8-5 against both the rec small blind and the more full stack, likely reg big blind type player. I don't think there's any reason to bet this one. I think you should go ahead and check it back. Are some interesting cards that give me extra equity. 6s, 9s, 4s give me some form of a straight draw. Clubs give me a flush draw. Go ahead and check back. 7 gives me 2 pair, which is a strong but not in hand. So I'm cool with the fact that that flop bet did not happen. Kept the pot a little bit smaller. I think this hand does a little bit better on a little bit smaller type board. He bets into me for half pot. Trying to decide if it's better to flat here and play rivers, or if I should raise, knowing I really can't play back if he comes over the top. I think I'm going to flat, go to the river, keep the hand under wrapped. I can theoretically even value raise some river bet sizes on certain river cards without improving. Blank river cards, I can value raise certain bet sizes. So hard to get paid by a queen. Jack that closes straights and flushes is not one I think I want to be raising, however, though I still can bluff catch. Or against a check, I can try to value bet. Still get called down by hands like random queens or random jacks with a diamond. Not expecting tons of jacks, but you can have a lot of queen X, and like king queen with a diamond. He turned 2 pair, but I think that's okay. So my plan on different cards was going to be good. If he value bet the river again in a blank, say he bets a half or 3/4, I can just go ahead and value raise. Didn't get the right run out, but I think my approach was pretty solid. Table 4, blind on blind, open in pocket 9s. Get a 10-8-4 rainbow board. I'll check my 9s on that, but obviously not planning to check fold, looking to continue. Table 3, open an ace-jack in middle position. Table 4, he stabs about 2/3, 3/4 on the 10-high board. I'll check call by 9s. Turn is a 4, board pairing 4. He checks back. River is a deuce. If I bet out, his 10s or his 4s are obviously calling, and I don't beat them. The 8s might call when they otherwise might check back. They might still even try to go for thin value, plus he might bluff if I continue checking. I'm going to check here and look to check call. Table 2, recreational player leads into me for half pot on Jack 5-3 two-tone. I've got top pair, top kicker. I'm going to put in a raise, start getting some money in now. I get a 3/4 stab on the river on table 4. I'm going to go ahead and bluff catch my 9s. He was value betting thinner, value betting the 8, so I got value off the 8 either by checking or betting, so I think my check is definitely the right move at that spot, is I'm getting value from the 8. The biggest concern with not betting the river myself was letting the 8s check down, but he went and value bet the 8 himself, which I wasn't sure he would do. Now, he had the best 8. He had ace 8. So he might have checked back some weaker 8s, but the fact that I'm still getting value from at least some of his 8s in the check line, while also giving him the chance to bluff and getting value from his bluffs, tells me I'm pretty good with the way I played the 9s there in that check line. I think it's all right. Table 2, ace 8 under the gun, probably a little loose to open even with a rec out there. He's also not all that whaley. He's short stacked, but he's playing very tight passive. Kind of a marginal open from early spots anyway, even if I think I've got some weaker players out there, so I think it's okay to let that one go. 40 blind stack here at table 4. That table's probably still live. Tables 1 and 2 look a little suspect right now, though. Table 1, button opens. I'm in the small blind with ace-king. Going to go ahead and pop that one up for sure. Table 3, recreational player opens 3x. I am in the button with king 10. I'm going to go after these guys. Slightly on the loose side, so I think it's going to be fine to 3-bet king 10 here, especially in position. I got cold 4-bet. I'm sitting here with ace-king, was going to jam over the cold 4-bet. Then the button jams over the top, so I'm against 2 uncapped ranges at this point. I think ace-king gets a lot more marginal. I know it's a loose formation, but I just don't know that these guys play back necessarily aggressively enough. Against the cold 4-bet, I wasn't going to sweat it, but when this guy jams over the top, I think the move now becomes to fold. I never pick up the pot pre-flop anymore. He did it with ace-queen suited, which I think is awfully wacky. But I was against queens. I was against a legitimate hand. My 3-bet gets called, and he donks into me 5 into 18. I don't have much of this board at all. However, that small donk is just so weak. I'm just not folding to it once. I'm going to look to make a play on later streets here. However, when he blasts pot, then now I think I've got no play to make. 5 with the float, looking to either turn one of my cards that gives me a pair, or just to try to take the pot away from him later, because I just don't give the donks a lot of credence until they show me something more. They very much give away the strength of their hand, most fish do with their sizes, so the small flop donk bet doesn't have me very concerned, but when he does that, a pot-sized bet on the turn, I don't think he's folding pretty much anything ever. He might overplay some marginal hands, but I just don't think I'm getting him to fold those marginal hands by raising, so I'm not about to make no suicide bluff with no equity. Got a recreational player on 40 blinds limping over there on table 4. I'm going to isolate from the button with jack 9. On the loose side, but it's never too big a problem to go after these guys. It's where your win rate comes from. Table 2 opening 10-9 suited from middle position. Table 4, I get a low board against the short stack. I've got 2 overcards. Was going to check back on 6-5-3 because he is short stacked. However, he leads into me for 2 into 10. I'm going to float that and figure out what to do on later streets. He checks the turn. Going to go ahead and stab half pot here now. Plan to follow through on the river. River is an 8. Gonna go ahead and put the rest in now. He instantly folds. Sometimes the cards don't matter against these guys. Got 3-bet here in position with my 10-9 suited. Probably supposed to... I timed out thinking about what to do and talking about the other hand, but probably okay to fold that anyway out of position. King 3 suited over here on table 3. Kind of on the cusp. Not sure that these guys are necessarily wrecks. I'll fold that one, but pretty close. Table 4, we're going to open King 10 suited in middle position. Table 4, open an aces, my favorite hand under the gun. Short stack recreational player comes along, as does the big blind. 9-4-4 two-tone. Actually, might want to get cute and check this one back, as it's pretty well protected from all the stuff that is going to fold anyway if I bet the flop. You know, I kind of want to let random hands like Jack 10 hit something. You know, the 4 is going to get me anyway if this guy's got it. I think I'm going to check back once. Give guys a chance to hit a jack or something like that. A bit more out there that can come along for a bet or two that actually still beats me. Or actually that I still beat. Okay, he leads 2, he calls. I'm going to go ahead and put in that raise now. Really just trying to get the rest of the short stacks money. Comes along for a call. Other guy folds out. River is the 9, putting a double paired board out there, which I don't love. However, he checks. I'm still just going to try to get the rest of the money from a jack or something he just decides he's not willing to fold. Put the rest 11 in. Jack's not folding. There we go. He calls, he mucks, I scoop. Get squeezed over here on table 3. I'll just go ahead and fold my ace-4 suited. Going to be very, very tight in that spot. Not really going to have much in the way of cold calls at all. This guy seemed like a wreck, but he's not playing all that wreck-like, so I'm not going to go after him with Queen-Jack. The ace's hand, it was against King-Jack, so my ploy to give him a bit of rope on the flop and let his random overcards hit a pair that will then not fold worked out just fine. Yay for me on that one. Game's really not all that great right here. It's Saturday afternoon on the East Coast. We're only playing $50, so I expect to find as many fish as I want. And there, you know, there have been some, but I wouldn't say it's saturated. I'm having a bit of trouble keeping the tables going. Rec type player over here on table 4 opens the button 2.5x. I'm going to go ahead and defend for a call with King 7 suited. With a little bit of backdoor equity on Jack 4-3 rainbow with a single club out there. We check through on the flop. Turn is a 4. It doesn't give me any equity, but I'm not going to check fold against Rex. I'm just going to start bluffing them. Too wide, too weak. Too easy to abuse. Not giving up. Gonna try to steal the pot. Won't work every time, but it'll work often enough. Table 3, blind on blind, opening King 4 suited, and Table 4 gonna open Ace Deuce suited in the cutoff. Table 3 in the blind battle, get a Jack 7-6 two-tone board. I do have the flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and just start betting out. Table 4, 10-3, 10-4, 3 two-tone. I've got a gut shot to go with my overcard. I'm going to go ahead and bet that one too. Table 4, I turn the deuce, turn low pair. I actually check back a smidge of short on value, goods flush draws on paired overcards kind of thing. I turn 2 pair on the 4 straight on that ace river. I'm going to continue barreling my flush draw on table 3. Face a slight overbet over here on table 4. It's basically saying he has a 5 or nothing. I guess in theory it could be some thinner value bets there, but I've got backed into a 2 pair. Could be a board people get bluffy. I'm not going to overthink it. Just going to click call. And I'm actually against a mergy small 2 pair that I beat, 3 deuce. So that worked out nice. Gonna open ace 10 from middle position on table 4. Can't fold. It's just the way the game goes. Can't fold. They had me, they had me. Full stack player, probably a reg. He calls in position. Gonna check to him on the Jack 7-6 rainbow board. Stabs 3/4. Just go ahead and check fold my ace high. Not a whole lot in the way of backdoors. 8-6 suited under the gun. Table full of no obvious spots. Going to go ahead and fold and shuffle this table out, looking for greener pastures. Going to open deuces from the button on the new table 1. Blind on blind, table 2. Going to defend for a call with my queen jack. I face a small 3-bet over here on table 1. He's short stacked though, so I think I can fold my small pairs even for the great price. Table 2, I get bet into on ace king 3 two-tone. I don't have any relevant suits in my hand, but I do have a gut shot to the nuts, so I'm coming along for at least 1 bet. He goes ahead and checks. I think this is a spot where I just start betting. What do I really bet here for value? I mean, I guess I can have sets like 3s or 5s, ace 3, ace 5. I have 3-bet ace 5 pre-flop. I can have the offsuit version. Don't have a lot of super strong hands. I think we do want to make this pot bigger, though, just for the times when the 10 hits. It checks back. Now, I'm not going to fold out an ace, not going to fold out a king. I'm really only betting to fold out weaker pairs that he check calls with, and I beat any draws that he might have check called with. I'm going to take the showdown here. Ace 9. I'm not folding ace 9 out. Blind on blind, table 2, ace 3. This one's kind of close. I think I'll go ahead and fold it unless I think I've got a recreational player on the blinds. I don't have any reason to suspect that as of yet. Hasn't played any hands, hasn't a 200 blind stack. Not short, not limping, not doing anything that indicates a fish as of yet, so I'm not going to assume he's a fish. The guy with 15 blinds and limping, I will, however, assume he's a fish, and I'm going to go after him with my king-jack. Min open under the gun on table 2, 3-betting from my cutoff with pocket queens. The recreational player overcalls or cold calls the 3-bet, then the reg jumps in and calls as well. Interesting board, 10-9 deuce monotone. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small continuation bet, make the rec put the rest of his money in right now. Don't give a chance for overcards to peel. And still in good shape. Don't want to see this guy check raise me, of course. Very happy to get the money in against this guy, though. Do get check raised. Do not love that at all. Cannot expect him to have a whole lot in the way of bluffs. I'm going to go ahead and open King 10 from under the gun on table 3. A little bit loose, but it looks like we have some rec tech guys out there. I really have to fold the queens against the check raise here. And it was against aces and top sets, so queens with the spade is actually the worst hand on that board of the 3. Table 1, opening ace-7 suited from under the gun. Table 3, big blind call is going to put in a small range bet on that 6-deuce-deuce board. We get a jack of spades. However, that overcard gives me some room to bluff. Plus, I do block backdoor spade draws, hands like king, queen, king 10 that could be out there. Some weaker king X that might float. That said, in this spot, I want to be playing overbet or check. I've got various club draws and spade draws to put in the bluff line. I've got king, queen for overcards, all the offsuit versions of that. I think I'll check this one back. Could see argument for betting. I'm just going to go ahead and check it. Table 3, cutoff opens, recreational player calls on the button, I squeeze with queens, RFI player folds out, short stack comes along for a call, we have a hot half pot size bet left on 10-5-4, I've got overpair that's vulnerable to over cards, no reason to trap, just jam it in. He quickly snaps with 5-7 offsuit for second pair, I hold up, my hand is good. Table 1, open ace-queen from the button. Recreational player, 80 blinds deep, calls and defends. We get a Jack-Jack-10 rainbow board. I bet small and face a small check raise. Going to be floating with my gut shot 2 over cards. Love to find a king here. He checks back. I'm going to go ahead and check back. Ace-queen I have showdown against his unpaired high card bluffs. Probably not folding out stuff like a 10 at all either, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to take my showdown. Again, not going to try to bluff him off a 10 or a pocket pair. Maybe a hand like pocket sixes he could theoretically have. We would fold to a bet. I'm going to take the showdown here. He had 3-5 offsuit that turned a pair. Clever guy. Table 2, open an ace-jack suited from the cutoff. Table 1, I've got ace-7 in the cutoff. Kind of weak, but I want to go after my buddy here in the blinds, so give him as many chances as possible to punt into me. I get 3-bet over here on table 2. I'm in the cutoff with ace-jack suited. Very strong hand for facing a 3-bet. I'm going to go ahead and defend that one for a call and go to the flop. 9-9-6 two-tone. You have a backdoor flush draw. I can have pocket nines here. I really can't have a whole lot in the way of strong hands. I don't know that I need to be check raising this board just because I don't really have much in the way of trips. I don't really think I have pocket sixes that much. Having some, I guess, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and float my ace-high backdoor flush draw for a call. Had a limper that I isolated on table 3 from the button with king-queen suited. Table 4, open queen jack from middle position. Big blind calls, checks to me on queen 3-3-2. I'll go ahead and put in a small bet. You get a 9-9-5-6-6 run out, so we have 2 pair with the ace high kicker. I'm going to go ahead and check, try to show this down. Could maybe even bluff catch against hands like queen jack. Not expecting a ton of thin value bets from pocket pairs. And perhaps he should make those thin value bets. He didn't try to with pocket sevens. I think maybe he should there. Opening pocket fours in middle position. Slightly loose, but we have a wreck in the blinds. Table 1, big blind with pocket sevens against a recreational player's open. I'll defend for a call, go to the flop with the sevens. Queen 8-3 two-tone, no relevant suit in my hand. He stabs half pot. I'll call it once just because fish are so bluffy. Turn is an 8 board pairing card. He continues betting, this time 3/4. I'll go ahead and fold sevens to the second barrel. My pocket fours hand, we check around on king 7-3 two-tone. Turn is the 7. I'm going to go ahead and start betting this out now. Betting out small. Try to fold out equity, some degree of protection against unpaired high cards. 5-7 suited under the gun, but looks like we have fishy players all over the table, so I want to be in there a bit more often than usual. The imposition player folds, the fish call. It's good at 5. That's pretty blank. I'm probably not folding out like a king or a 7 for sure. He leads into me now for 8. Do I go ahead and bluff catch there? I kind of think I do against a fish donk line. Not super profitable, but I don't like folding to these guys. He had a full house 7s full of 3s, so whatever. Imposition recreational player calls me on table 3, get a king queen 7 two-tone board. I'll go ahead and check my marginal showdown value, looking to keep that pot smaller. Turn is a king. I think I actually want to go ahead and bet out small here to either charge random overcards that have some equity or force them to fold. You know, if he folds a hand like 10-9, that's great for me. Folds a hand like ace-8, that's great for me. River is an ace. Don't know that I can really fold too much better now. I think I just want to check and try to check down against busted draws. Not going to fold out a queen, not going to fold out an ace, not going to fold out a king. He stabs half pot. Ha! I mean, I'm probably getting value towned here, but I'm calling for that size. Value owned with nines, too. Ouch. Crushing me. Table 4, open ace-5 suited from the cutoff. Big blind calls, checks to me. Queen 6-5 two-tone. I'll go ahead and bet out small. Blind on blind. Suspected recreational player. He's limped. Gonna go ahead and 3-bet him with my ace-king on table 3. Take that one down. Table 1, blind on blind. Gonna open king 7 suited. Very coordinated board. I've got some backdoor piece of it. Jack 10-8 two-tone. Given my backdoors, I think I want to try to preserve them, and I will bet them out rather than checking and having to check fold, check call, or check raise. None of those options seem all that great. Couple recreational players behind me. Going to go ahead and open queen 9 from the cutoff. The more and the worse the players are, the wider I'm going to play to get a chance to play against them. I think queen 9's a pretty clear open here against these two guys playing on broken stacks. A position player calls me, get a 6 deuce deuce two-tone board. I don't really think I want to check fold this or check call it. I'm just going to go ahead and bet that one out. All kinds of overcards that turn pairs. I do have the spade, queen of spades in my hand to coordinate with the 2 spades on the flop. Going to get a lot of folds on a board like that too. Now, against a reg type player, they're going to have a very condensed range, a much stronger range. Lots of pocket pairs, lots of stronger ace high, super Broadway type hands in their pre-flop calling range, whereas the recreational players are going to call a lot more trash. They're going to have a lot more hands that just auto-fold, even the small bets on a board like that, or should auto-fold at least. Sometimes they'll still call anyway. But it's going to be a lot better to bet a board like that, beat largely as a bluff, looking for folds on the flop against the recreational players. They're going to have so many more weak garbage hands that will actually fold to that small bet. A reg has pocket 8, or if anyone has pocket 8s, they're not folding that board ever for that small bet. Table 1, open 5-3 suited from the button. Table 3, open king jack under the gun. Get a queen 4/4 two-tone board. Guy suspected wreck before. He was playing in a shorter stack for he won some money. Now he dunks into made 3/4. I'm obviously going to continue with my flush draw. Turned a pair too with that 5. Interesting card for me. He continues donk betting. I'm going to continue flatting in position with my showdown value pair and my flush draw. Table 3, get a top pair decent kicker against a recreation player in the blind, so I'm going to size up a bit more on the flop on that king 8-3 two-tone board. I'm going to go ahead and take the showdown with my 5 here. It's against 5-6, a weaker 5. He check calls and turn as a flush closing. He was doing that with 5-6 offsuit, kind of a silly donk lead, but that's why you don't give a ton of credits to fish donk bets. Table 3, he check calls, get a flush closing 5 of spades turn. I'm going to continue betting to protect against single spade hands. I don't want to have to bluff catch with no spade on 4 spade rivers and a check back line. I'm going to go ahead and bet here and plan to be checking back rivers. I guess if I improve to trips or a non-spade jack, I can consider finding a third straight for value. Gets a little bit dicier on that flush closing turn, especially after the larger flop bet. But it is against a guy that I think is kind of fishy, so... Queen 9 under the gun, even with the wreck out there, starts to get a little bit wild, even by my taste. I think that's just going to get yourself into too much trouble. If it's a table full of literally all fish or something like that, sure, it doesn't matter. But for anything we remotely frequently see in the wild, I think Queen 9 is just going to be a little too loose to be opening from under the gun. Certainly way outside what theory would justify, that's for damn sure. This guy not super fishy. Like, he's short stacked, but he's really only limped once, probably limping behind the wreck. Janky sizings, but he's not too out of line with this pre-flop play. Pulled Queen 9 from middle position, even with the fish shot there. And that small 3-bet he used pre-flop, I think it was 2.5 to 8.5 out of position. That was with pocket aces. Got a cutoff open. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet ace-4 suited from my small blind. Table 1 blind on blind, going to open 10-9. Fairly standard, but even more reasonable against a guy that's been super nitty over 40 hands. Flop a 10-8-3 two-tone board. I'm going to go ahead and check my marginal top pair. Dabs half pot. Check call. Turn is a 7, giving me an open and straight draw to go with my top pair. He continues betting, but I'm not going anywhere with that much equity and showdown value. River is the deuce of diamonds. I think I need to check there. I don't mind his check back on the flush closer there. It's just getting bet into by a slightly better 10. Nothing unusual or wrong with that. Tables are breaking. I think I'm going to take a little break here anyway. Open queen 10 under the gun. Slightly loose over here on table 3, but fish. So let's do it. Against the 3-bet, though, that becomes a very easy fold. Last hand is going to be a fold under the gun, so I'm going to cut the video at this point. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off, and thank you very much for watching.